There we go.
Great, thank you. Thank you for coming in person, and for those of you who are online, I'm Cynthia Powell, Director of Calflora. And thank you, both of you and your Buenos CNPS for having me.
Sure, happy you're here, Cynthia.
And for the great snacks and the homemade brownies. So Calflora has some new and exciting tools. But first of all, let's talk about what is Calflora anyway, because Janice and I were just talking, like, people get Calflora mixed up with what? Calscape, CNPS, Cal Photos, UC. There's a lot of cows, and it is confusing.
And a nursery, right?
There's a Calflora nursery, yes, in Sonoma County, and we get their emails, we get their phone calls. So yeah, it is complicated. We are our own independent, separate nonprofit, and we collaborate with a lot of other organizations, including CNPS. Work together, and the unique things that Calflora provide are aggregated data. I'm going to talk in a minute for what that means. We cross-reference old and new plant names. As you know, they change. There have been some recent changes, like it's hard, you can't keep up with it. So if you're looking for an old name, it's okay. We got you covered. It'll bring you to the new name. Soil and climate tolerances, and that leads into the planting guide. We have Janice and I, again, we're talking about Calscape, which helps you figure out what plants will grow well in a certain location. And our planting guide at Calflora is similar, but the algorithm is different than the Calscape ones. We'll talk about that. Potential plant habitats, this is new. You can download by shapefile where could this plant grow potentially based on its tolerances. So that's new and exciting. Talk about that. How that relates to the planting guide. Pollinator info, also new, how that relates to the planting guide. And then history stacks. I might not get too much into history stacks depending on how glazed over your eyes are looking. We'll see. That's the last thing. And who knows what I wrote at the bottom there? Let's see if I can move this over. Maybe I can't.
You get more, you can get hide more.
Get rid of that. Yeah.
Oh, over here, more.
Hide video thing.
Hold on, I need my glasses.
Nice one. Deb.
Hide video panel. Oh, that's me.
No, that's it.
Hide
Floating.
floating meeting controls. Okay, there we go. So if I need them, I can push escape. Okay, so current information. Calflora provides current information for amateurs, professionals, researchers, climate scientists, and you. We're going to start to talk about aggregated. I use different words to try and explain this. What works best for you? Combine, collate, bring together, pull in. So there's so many sources. iNaturalist, a lot of people out there using iNaturalist. Calflora pulls in the iNaturalist plant data. When you see a plant in California, and if it's research grade, then we get that. Another very important data source that we pull in is specimens from the Consortium of Herbaria, CCH. And those can go back even to the 1800s. So if you're looking at change over time, how has the range changed? How has the phenology changed? It used to bloom in May and now it blooms in April. That's really important. So Calflora and county, national, federal, state level, we're connected to all these different state, local, federal organizations, and they feed us the data so that we have a current view of what is growing in California. And this includes every wild plant species in the state. There will be a quiz. 8,500 distribution maps are available via Calflora. Okay, this is kind of what people think of when they think of Calflora, unless they're thinking of Calscape, CNPS, Cal Photos, or something else. They think of this map. These blue dots come from where? What kinds of organizations, sources?
iNaturalist.
Herbaria.
Jepson.
Jepson, yeah, Jepson's one of the Herbaria, yep.
And your own app.
And our own app, exactly, that's important, and our own website. State parks, BLM, national parks, county parks, all feed in their data. And then this photo is, so this is the distribution of this Arctostaphylos. And each species has photos called reference photos associated with it. And this photo is a particularly nice one that happens to be taken by one of our board members, Julie Kirsten. And if you're interested in joining the Calflora board, we have a 2-year rotation and it's really fun. You can talk to our other board members and confirm that when I'm here. So part of my, that kind of advertisement for this presentation was this distribution map with all these blue dots coming from so many different sources for this species. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about what plant distribution is this? So what plant is this that might be distributed across the state like this? And why did I circle these two? So this is, I'm gonna bring up this slide again at the end. Oh no, I forgot the prize. Oh, you're kidding.
There's a prize.
Well, there was a prize. I promised a prize, but I left it. Oh, no. Well, I'll mail it.
Free field trip tomorrow.
You're welcome. If you know the answer to these questions, you can come on the field trip tomorrow. And I can mail you the prize. Okay, so just be pondering this as we go through the presentation. The cross-reference old and new plant names, talk about that for a minute. We are the only organization that does this. And we cross-reference from USDA plants, the Jepson Flora, iNaturalist, Plants of the World Online, which is Kew Gardens, and the CNPS Rare Plant Inventory. Sometimes, most of the time, they agree. Sometimes they disagree. And then we kind of have a problem. But for the most part, they agree. And these are the nomenclature authorities. We are not the authority, but we reflect the authorities. We don't want to be the authority. Somebody else make those decisions, and we'll make it easy for people to find the answers. So for instance, here's kind of the famous Mimulus diplicus switcheroo that happened a few years ago. This map depicts what's now called Diplicus tricolor. Used to be called Mimulus tricolor, but it's the same map. It's the same species. Here's Simona Rodison, another board member's gorgeous photo of the species. And so if you're looking at Diplicus tricolor on Calflora, you'll arrive at this map. If you're looking at Mimulus tricolor, you'll arrive at this map. And all of the alternate names are listed below the map. Some people call them synonyms, but it's not always a one-to-one relationship. There's lumping, there's splitting. So we call them alternate names. Here are 3 more gorgeous examples. Jordan Collins, David Greenberger, Chasey. These are just, oh wow. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go through all these changes. There's a lot of changes. We're keeping up with all these changes. It's a lot of work, but we want to make sure that we are providing you with the current plant names as the authorities have decided.
Cynthia, is there
Yeah.
a single authority for California plant name?
Well, let me go back to my list. It could be they all think that they are the same authority. But really, I mean, I think some people would say, iNaturalist is global. So if you're just talking about California, some people might say Jepson would be the authority because they're just California. But then so many people are using iNaturalist that you don't want to leave iNat out because then there's a big gap. Kew, I mean, they're super famous, very well renowned, and CNPS Rare Plant Inventory, they know what's up too. So and USDA plants, I can't forget that, like that's a federal organization. So we reflect them all. And for the most part, they agree with each other. Not always, but usually they do. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Good question.
Oh, no, there's no.
In short, no. Yes. So soil and climate tolerances. We take these maps with all these blue dots for how many species that grow wild in the state? 8,500. You're paying attention. Great. And we collect and give you, if you're interested, for each of these species, what are the soil and climate tolerances? Let's just look at one species. Here are the list of elevation, so between 35 to 3,000 feet, also meters. Of elevation, precipitation, it can tolerate between 2,807 inches of precipitation, also in centimeters. Wet season, temperature range, December low, July high, cumulative amount of soil, pH, max salinity, minimum depth, calcium carbonate, all of these things for every single species, and this feeds into the planting guide. And it also feeds into this potential habitat. So these, and it's, if you want to know exactly how this algorithm works, we have a very long, thorough description on the website. And all of these yellow and orange areas are depicting potential habitat for this species. And every single, all 8,500 species have this potential habitat. And you can now export it. So into a GIS layer, you can, also you can look at the watersheds. Actually, there's two different kinds of models. One is a grid and one is watershed. So this one looks like it's the watershed one. It's quite incredible. And another new tool, we now have pollinator information on Calflora. Over 1,500 plant species in California are associated with beneficial organisms, such as pollinators. And now you can use Calflora to figure out which ones are associated with which pollinator species. Super cool. It was a long time coming and we finally made it happen. Yes?
No, I'm saying that's oaks, mournful dusky wing eats, the larva eats oak leaves.
Wow. We got,
Is that an oak leaf?
looks like it, yeah, this could be an oak leaf. We have some very knowledgeable audience members telling us which insects these are.
He doesn't get the prop.
Yeah. Right. You can come on the heck tour.
Did you collect all of the pollinator?
Where did that come from? Good question.
That's okay.
So we are not the authority on the pollinator info.
No, but
We're like pulling it from different places.
Get it all from my nephews, probably from my nephews. People do insects.
Is there like a, do you run a website about this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe he does, I don't know. Clearly a knowledgeable audience.
USDA doesn't.
Yeah, so if you wanted to know the answer to that question, it is available on our website. I don't know it off the top of my head. That's great.
I just think it's such information
It is really important.
and it's hard to find in one spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really
Your
important.
site is the only one, yeah.
You're like about 3 books, but all you for this post plan.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, it's all first. It's very big.
Has it all.
Aggregate.
All aggregated.
Yeah.
Good. Aggregated, collated, combined, brought together. Whatever verb works for you in one place. So I'm hoping that we can do a live demo here in a minute, because it seems like Eddie and I were able to get the internet to work. We were on a hotspot and then we switched over to this building's internet. So since you seem like your eyes are not too glazed over yet, I'll just give a brief description about what history stacks are. Because change over time is so important, climate change, phenology changes, development, everything that's going on in our world right now. Calflora has the capability to, if you or anybody say this could be for invasive plants or native plants or rare plants, saw a specific plant, like let's just do an invasive like goat grass. There was an acre of goat grass, and then 20 years later it was 20 acres of goat grass, or it was a rare plant and 20 years later the rare plant is gone. That's the kind of thing that you can see. I think of a stack of pancakes, like in 2000 it was this, in 2010 it was this, in 2020 it was this, in 2025 it was gone or bigger or smaller. You can also log polygons. So if you have an acre, if you have just the size of this room, which is smaller than an acre of some species, instead of just having point after point after point, you can say, okay, it's about 30 feet by 20 feet polygon with 80% cover, or 30 plants. You can do plant count, you can do percent cover for your polygon, or you can assign if you're quickly moving through, which a lot of the land managers who use Calflora are. They have a point with a radius and they're just get like 10 meters, 5 meters, 15-meter radius, and they're trying to get quick polygons into the system. And then they do a lot of calculated reports for their supervisors later saying, we used goats to eat the whatever invasive plant and it was effective or it wasn't. And this is how we spent our funds and spent our time. Okay, so that's a really basic history stack lesson. Any questions about history stacks? I guess, what if the people online have a question? Too bad.
At the
Oh, at the end, okay. So if you have a question, you're online, just hold on, we'll do questions at the end, after the live demo. All right, so let's do this live demo. A lot of you, I think, are interested in, you have gardens, you have restoration sites. Eddie just planted 17 live oaks today on a slope.
Right.
So, in Maureen.
I told we had a lot of.
A lot, and Libby, so like a bunch of people in this room were involved. And they were probably at some point trying to figure out, we have this slope. We want to plant something that's obviously native. And that can grow on a slope that, however, are you irrigating or no?
No.
No irrigation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
One person says they're irrigating, the other one says they're not, so.
No, we've actually, there's
Oh, okay.
water bags that are filled and they're act like they're irrigation.
Oh, wow.
To get the trees established.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can use the planting guide to give you a list of species that would grow well based on those plant tolerances that we were just looking at. They'll grow well at a specific location if you're irrigating, if you're not, if it's riparian, if it's not, if it's shady, if it's not. Which, as Janice and I were talking about, is similar to Calscape, but the algorithm is different and the end results, they look different. Okay, so, oh, Eddie's not signed in. Let's see, should I sign in as me, Eddie?
Yeah.
No. If this range.
Oh, you couldn't log in on the Zoom?
But it's.
Oh, okay.
Might have to. Screen share. Share.
Oh, do you think that we're not on Zoom anymore?
No, it's hitting escape, and then you can get, do.
Oh, right.
Share.
Looks like they're still there. Share.
Share the browser window.
Oh, because they aren't seeing the browser window. I see. That's what you're saying.
No.
Who's that?
Who is that? Good thing you pointed that out. Okay, so now are people on Zoom able to see my screen?
So.
Why don't you answer the chat too?
Yes.
If you're in Zoom, oh, I got a thumbs up. Yay, okay. So now we're gonna do 5 floating meeting controls. Okay, thanks for the thumbs up. So since we're here in San Francisco, let's pick a spot. I don't know, Eddie, do you want to pick your specific location where you're planting those trees, or do you want to pick a different place?
Let's
Where we are here. Oh gosh. I was lucky to find this place. Let's see. Here, someone who actually knows, come on up.
put the address.
What's the address?
Oh yeah, we could put the address in, that's right. What is the address? Something Baylands, 5
No, 22, well, this address is 2201 Beige.
Right.
Bay Shore?
Yeah.
Oops. Avenue Drive Street.
Beige Shore Boulevard.
Oof. Oof. Boulevard. San Francisco. See if it can find that. Oh, look, there we go. Wow. Okay, so what, those jackrabbits out there, so they were like
Yeah.
right in here? All right. So is this location low water? Probably.
Yeah.
right? There's no
Low
like
water.
low water.
Um,
See, I'm gonna fill in, I'm gonna, should this be checked? Probably.
yeah,
It's not riparian, so we'll check that. It's not very shady up there.
It's not.
Is it
Pretty
fill?
sunny.
Yeah, it's Bayfield. Yeah,
It's
it's actually on
Bayfield?
Bayfield.
Oh, I don't know if that's, well, we'll see if it works. It might not work.
Percentage.
Oh, that's why it says soil values are not available because it's Bayfield.
Okay.
So we might get 0 results. Oh, we didn't get 0 results at all. Wow. All right, let's look at the annuals. So we'll fold up the map. Of course, we're not going to recommend planting anything that's not native. The Castanea is a pollinator. I mean, it attracts pollinators. So why, I wonder if there's one we could pick on, like this Clerkia. Let's just see, why did this show up here? Location
That's a
suitability.
red part.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Well, let's see. We can go there and check. Oh, it grows all over.
yes.
Oh, oops. And segue into our fundraiser. So this Clarkia grows in a lot of different places across the state. And it suits this location because it fits into these parameters. Here's the, here is the parameters for where we are right now. And here is tolerances for the species.
So that's the outlook. Yeah, it'll fit.
Exactly.
Whatever helps me.
It keeps going.
Not, even if it's technically a marine.
so it's not
Is
filtered by.
No, she's
No.
just saying if it was technical,
Oh, if it were technically we're in, yeah,
but it still fits your.
could still
profile.
suit here. Be suitable here. Eddie, did you say something?
So it's not filtered by the local plant list?
Well, this information for this
It's
species,
suitability.
the tolerances, the suitability is based on where it actually grows already.
Oh, okay.
So we wouldn't know all this if we didn't have, however many observations we have for this species. What's the?
But just if it's not here, it might be still can be suitable for our habitat, right? We just don't have it.
Right, that's true, and it would still show up if it were still suitable. So if we went to the plant range, this is gonna show us not only where it does grow, which if we wanna see the individual observations, I can click this and then we'll see a bunch of blue dots show up, but right now what we're seeing with the orange and yellow is where it could grow, like what's suitable. And now, let's turn on the dots to see where it actually does grow, which of course feeds the algorithm, so there will be overlap. There's a lot. How many thousands were there? It's thinking.
Can I ask you to do one for me?
Do what?
Serpentine sunflower.
Oh, yeah, you wanna look at you wanna look at the tolerances for a specific species
Yeah.
and see the range? Sure.
See if it would show up in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Helianthus bulenderi.
Okay, so should we let this chew on the question we've asked it and look up Helianthus bulenderi?
Because it's like, we have serpentine, why can't we have this? It'd be great. With our profile.
So here is one place you can search by Helianthus. And if there were an old name or a different name for this, it would be listed here. But another reminder to donate. If we were to donate, those things pop up and go away. So what is the range? This is Bob. What's your name? Bob. Bob's question. There, so that's where it can grow
What did you click on to get
there.
Yeah.
Let's go back. So first I went to the Calflora homepage. And then I went to search for plants, which some people bookmark because they want to skip this homepage. And once you start typing, thank goodness there's a drop down, because how are you gonna spell all these? Helianthus. Oh, and then I just typed the B and it popped up. I said, okay, yes, please, that one. And I could also say, I only want to see where it grows in Marin County or where it grows in a specific county, or I only want to look at all annuals or all lichen or all liverworts or all CNPS rare plants. But in this case, we have one species. Oh yeah, you could search by the common name, and if you don't know the scientific name, like if you and what you could also do is search for sunflower. It's gonna be a million of these.
Serpentines.
Yeah, so if you just know that it's
Oh,
something
great.
sunflower, you can kind of scroll through these and see if it jogs your memory, like which sunflower was it again?
Serpent.
Yeah, so then if you know, serpentine. So then you can choose it that way too. That's, yeah, this name, this crosswalking thing is it is pretty amazing.
So is it suitable for San Francisco?
So the question, is it suitable for San Francisco? There aren't any observations in San Francisco. So someone said, how did you get to that plant range page? This is what we call our taxon report. I'd like to call it plant profile. They don't always listen to me, so. And then there's all kinds of information, like you can look at more reference photos. Here's our bloom wheel, more photos, genus, family, if it's a parent or a child, those will all be listed there. And then does it grow in wetlands? This one's equally likely to grow in wetlands and not. What's its habitat? What are the communities? And then I was also, Janice and I had this big conversation. I was saying, people, we have all these links to all these other sources, which means people are leaving our website, which might not be the best thing, but we're a provider of information, and these are like really important. Health photos, USDA plants, Jepson flora, nursery availability. If you wanted to buy this from a nursery, which ones have it? Consortium of Herbaria. So there's here's Hellscape, all these different references and sources to look at. Okay, so suitability, which is also called plant range. So this is where I'm going to click right now. There's, see this? Click here. And then if you wanted to export it under tools, download the climate model as a geotiff, you can do that. Suitability, potential range, where could it grow? Isn't that what you think is suitability?
Potential.
Yeah, potential range.
You know where it is.
This is potential habitat. These are watersheds, so this is by watershed. We can also look at it by climate model. And then if you wanted to make the lines a little darker, you could see them better. Darker background, thick outline. Oh. Yeah, so it looks like no San Francisco. Why? Is that your next question?
Why?
Yeah, is that your next question?
No, I was.
No.
One.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so that was a little detour, very interesting detour, taking us from this Clarkia over to a sunflower. And the reason we were looking at why this showed up, location suitability, and then you can also see, oops, taxon report. So, okay, that was the live demo of the planting guide. And if you're coming in from the top, go back to this page. There's all these links on the side. And here's the plant. What grows here, I like to use that like for tomorrow at San Bruno Mountain. We have a list of what blooms in September on Stanford in the section of the weed tomorrow. Weed managers, mostly for land managers. News, if you're interested in upcoming hikes, upcoming excursions like tomorrow and other ones, that's under news. about Calflora, about us as an organization, the board. Donate, that's the other thing I have to talk about. Okay, I would be remiss not to mention. Let's see, oh, I was on the PowerPoint, let's see. Oh yeah, here we are, okay. Okay, current information for amateur and professional botanists, researchers, climate scientists, and you. Without Calflora, this valuable and widely available information would not be, it's a lot of availables, would not be available. Other states don't have a resource like Calflora yet. There's been interest.
Might have us, you're not sharing.
Oh, I'm not sharing?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay, so let's see, stop share. Share. No, what's this one? Share screen. Okay, now, good? Okay, thanks for that reminder. Yeah, exactly. So we are in the middle, thank you for mentioning that. We're in the middle of a fall fundraiser and we need your support. And as an independent nonprofit, that is really important. And as a director, I'm in charge of all the fundraising, so I have to make sure we get the funds we need to continue to be this amazing resource. And, no. There we go. Okay, back to our quiz. Anybody want to try and answer this question for the prize?
Scientific?
Goldfield? What's the scientific name? Yeah. Yeah? I think you're right. Anybody else want to guess or add on to that guess? Okay, and what about these circles? What do you think this might be about? I guess it's dense with. What did you say? Outlier. Outlier. And what did you say? Pollinator. That's a good guess.
Naturalized population.
Natural.
Where
So
plants used to be.
these are all great guesses.
Unverified.
I'm very, somebody's really good guesses.
Somebody's backyard.
So the
Just outlier.
outlier. So if you look at the potential habitat and where this should grow based on its tolerances, potential habitat. These are questionable. So someone was combing through Calflora and saying, oh, that I don't think it actually grows there based on what your maps are showing, your tolerance maps, and based on what I know being that person, not me, about the species. So they commented on them, and the observers receive an email when someone comments on the record and, oh, you're right, I mis-ID'd that. Let me take that back. And now, so I think you still win. Yeah, close enough. You got the gold fields. Now the maps. They commented on it, the observers rescinded their IDs, changed it. I don't remember actually what they changed it to. And now those two dots are no longer on the map. So that's the process of correction, QA/QC. How do we make sure things are accurate and up to date and current? And it's different from iNaturalist because in iNaturalist, you as the observer don't get to ultimately decide what the idea is. The kind of community decides for you. That's a different model than Calflora. You as the observer decide what the idea is. People can say, I don't think you're right. And you do need to respond to them. Or else your observation will be put in this purgatory called questionable category. But it's your decision, your observation, and we're not gonna decide, you're an important part of that, so. Great, so now all of you online and all of you in the room, what questions do you have?
How is your database stored?
It's stored in the cloud.
Okay.
Is that a good answer? Do you want more detail? It's stored on like multiple servers and multiple clouds so that we have a backup and everything's safe and secure and so that we don't crash and burn.
How many people are?
There are 6 of us. So we're pretty small, but actually we have a really good retention rate. So a lot of people stick around and continue working for Calflora. So I've been the director since 2017. And we have some developers who've been with us since before 2017, and then one since 2017. We hired a new one about a year ago. So develop by developer, I mean like the coding people who are doing all the stuff behind the scenes. Actually, one of them named Matt is going to join us tomorrow. So come out from behind that curtain, you know, like the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, so then they also like to come out and like meet real life people who are interested in these plants and who know the areas and know like Doug and all of you.
Are you the founder?
No, I'm not. Calflora was founded in 2000 by Ann Dennis. And she started with like a list of plants that she knew grew in California, and the Forest Service was funding her at the time to start this nonprofit. So it's about 25 years old. And she is a botanist. She lives in France now. She's retired. But when she comes back, she comes to our gatherings, our board meetings, our, you know, dinners and stuff. And my MS is in GIS, Geographic Information Science, from San Francisco State. So I'm not a botanist. I've learned a lot about botany from people like you, who like the real deal people. And being the director of Calflora, you know, some botanical knowledge is definitely important. And I think because our product is very cartography oriented, very map oriented, GIS oriented, that part of my knowledge base is also really important.
Do you use it out in the field? Because I'm usually using iNaturalist, and these folks back here are using eBird.
Yeah. Yeah, if you come tomorrow, or even if you don't, I do use the Calflora app in the field, but you can use whatever app you want. And if you're using the iNat app, one of the great things about that is that it'll feed into the Calflora data, unless it's not research grade, in which case it won't. But the Calflora app I like to use, but it doesn't have the AI built in that the iNet app has built in. So people who are maybe who don't always know what they're looking at and who have connectivity in the field, they prefer to have that AI. Sometimes I use the iNet apps if I'm not sure what I'm looking at. But tomorrow, if you want to learn about the Calflora app, it's called Observer Pro. You can download it and use it out in the fields, or use whatever app, your eBird, your iNet, or whatever you'd like to use out there. That's fine too. Yes, Eddie.
You know what I've had a lot of fun with is, I teach bird classes.
Yeah,
and,
you're kind of famous.
So I'll take Calflora maps of plant species and then overlay them with eBird. Present species, you know, and it's remarkable.
That's so cool.
You could, like, for example, the California thrasher. If you look at the map of where
Its range.
coffee berry is, and then you look at where California thrashers are distributed, they're almost identical.
Because the thrashers eat the coffee berry?
Yeah, as they associate with that. That's the same thing with valley oak and yellow-billed magpie, for example, which is one of our very special birds here in California. It's one of two endemic birds in California. So you look at those valley oak, and then you look at the range maps of yellow-billed magpie, and you can just see it's like where there's valley oak, you know, where there's no valley oak, there's no thing.
So I don't know if you online can hear what Eddie's saying, but he's saying that the bird distribution maps for the plants that those birds eat match very closely, which is pretty cool. It's what you would expect, but I didn't actually have that ever confirmed. So
Yeah, I thought that'd probably be really similar with butterflies, you know, that you could do, you had range maps of butterflies and then their host plants. You could really overlay them.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in seeing titmouse and interior live oak. To see if that corresponds as well, because it's peculiar that titmouse doesn't really go into the frost zone, right outside the frost zones.
Right.
So, and that's not like our coast live oak, it's like interior live oak.
Right.
That's really cool. Yes.
Is that like it's in time, or is that?
Oh. Yeah, that's a great question. Noreen just asked about the climate data that we're using, showing what the precipitation is. What's the temperature at certain locations in California? Is that fixed in time? It is, I mean, it has to be. What's the date will be your next question.
Once a year.
Maybe,
No,
maybe every 5 years?
I'm sure it's some kind of a long-term average.
Yeah, right, a long-term running average, like maybe it's every 10 years, that kind of running average. And maybe it's different, like I know we get precipitation from Prism. I don't know where we get the, like the temperature ranges, so that might, I think Prism is precipitation only, so it must be from another source. So, but if you wanted to look that up, okay, now I'm gonna have to, you people on the screen might not be able to see it for a second. I think if I exit out my presentation, since I'm sharing my screen, they should be able to see it, right? Oh, good point. Questions in the chat. Questions in the chat, so.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have questions and you're on Zoom, please write them in the chat and we're gonna look at that in a second. I'm gonna try and see if I can answer Noreen's question. So. Planting guide, location, suitability, and help. Anytime you have a question. Analysis from Prism. Okay, so here it is, Noreen. Prism climate groups, various data sets. And if you want to know how frequently that's updated and what the rolling average is, then you could click on that and go to Prism and look it up. And for any other of these soil characteristics, you can click on all these links available under help. Did you see how I got there? Okay, good. Okay, so now I'm gonna look in the chat. I don't see any questions. Really, you guys? Oh, look, there are some. Welcome. 2 minutes feels so exciting. Okay. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? Oh, someone was asking where we're meeting tomorrow. Do we have the address for that? Should I not give that out?
It's
the main.
county parks.
Main County Parking Lot 10 a.m. It's called San Bruno Mountain.
Yeah.
Bruno Mount.
And I think
It's Guadalupe Park.
Guadalupe. Did I spell that right? Okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for being here and joining us, and please join us in October for our online speaker program.